We're bringing you not only an Inside AWAI, which is one of our favorite things to do, but one of the most requested topics that we ever get asked all the time. So I'm really, really excited. Today, we're going to be talking about creating a personal roadmap to being a well-paid writer. And we have the best possible people to join us to do this. We have Katie Yako. Hi, Katie. How you doing?
Hi, Jade. Hi, Rebecca. Hi, everybody. This is going to be fun.
It's going to be so good. And leading the way today, we have Rebecca Matter. Hi, Rebecca.
Hi, Jade. Hi, Katie. Hi, everyone.
I want to remind everybody, please ask questions. We have tons of people that are going to be helping out in Q&A. I'm going to be feeding questions to Katie and Rebecca at the end. But for now, if you all are ready, I think we should get the show on the road.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. We got a lot of great stuff to cover.
All right, so welcome everybody to Inside AWAI. As Jay just introduced, my name is Rebecca Matter, and I'm joined by my partner, Katie Yako. And we are super excited for this session because when it comes to anything in life, having a roadmap simply makes it easier. And as you know, if you've been around us for a while, the opportunity to become a well-paid writer, what that opportunity represents is huge. And so it can kind of be a little bit overwhelming with all the things that we give to you and all the things that the industry gives to you. What are the right steps for you at what point? How do you know which way to go, what things to do? That's what we're hoping to solve today, right, Katie?
Absolutely.
All right, let's just go ahead and dive on in. All right, so our goals for today, we're going to start with the benefits of having a roadmap. Pretty obvious, but I just want to touch on those quickly. We'll go over a 5-step process for writing success. And I'm not altering my own slides today, so I apologize for the delay. You will create your own roadmap. So I'm actually going to give you 2 examples of roadmaps that you could follow and give you tips for how to create your own. And then finally, tips for using it successfully. So let's go ahead and jump on into those benefits. So the benefits of having a roadmap. The first one is that it builds confidence. Katie, we talk about confidence a lot here at AWAI, right? Like that definitely is probably one of the biggest challenges, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. And just even by going through this exercise, it's going to give you confidence. The result that manifests itself is going to give you confidence. And as you start ticking things off and hitting the mile markers, that's going to give you confidence. So this is like a triple whammy as far as confidence goes.
I agree. And then once you have that, once you have this roadmap, so not only now do you have the confidence in knowing what steps to take, having a roadmap ensures that you maintain that forward progress, right? That you genuinely keep on taking steps. Because we're going to see in a minute, taking steps is really what it's all about. And it makes it a lot easier to keep taking steps if you know the next step in front of you. Having a roadmap also helps you save time and money. If you have been around this industry for a while, there's always another program, another webinar, another book, another training, another something that you could be doing, another marketing method, something else. Things that you could be investing in. How do you know if they're right for you right now, right? You might need a website. You might want to invest in someone helping you build your business, but is it the right decision for you right now? It's hard to say. When you have a roadmap, you'll know. You'll have a lens that you can look through whenever an opportunity presents itself, whether it's a program, a training, a client, a business building method, and you'll be able to say, does this keep me on my path or does it take me off my path? And if it takes me off my path, I'm going to mark it as a bright, shiny object, which is the last benefit of having a roadmap, and put it to the side, and maybe I'll come back to it another day, but not today. So it also helps you say goodbye to those bright, shiny objects, which we know there are so many in this world. So the key to well-paid writing success, and I just touched on this, is being able to make decisions and take action over and over again. This is right, Kate, even as a CEO, right? Like if you can't make decisions, you just get paralyzed.
You get paralyzed. And this gives you indicators that you can follow that are going to feed into what your overall objective is. And it takes the kind of the emotion out of it. It becomes a very practical decision. Is this going to move me further in my career? Is this going to get me closer to my goals? So, if you guys are with us, it's because you want this as your way of life. It's not a hobby. It's not just something you're dabbling around in. So it's really important to have this kind of mindset right from the start.
And even just your decision to be here today, to take this time out for yourself to say, yes, this webinar, this information is valuable for me and can help me, you've made a decision and now you're here. So you're taking action on that decision. The only thing that will stop you from success, from getting to where you want to be, is inaction. Right. If you freeze at any point along the way, the clock just stops, right? So if I freeze in picking a niche, if I freeze in picking a path, if I freeze in making decisions, and while I believe in making good decisions and feeling confident in those decisions, every time you freeze, the clock stops. And so if you freeze for a day, that's a day. If you freeze for a month, that's a month. If you freeze for 3 months, right? You could have been taking small steps forward. You would have been so much further down the path 3 months later than if you wouldn't have frozen in place. So being able to make decisions, to identify decisions, to be able to make them and take action. Are you going to make all the best decisions 100% of the time? Of course not. But I would rather make 80% of the decisions accurately and have forward progress than not make any at all. Because the only way you can 100% fail is to stay standing still and not move forward. So just remember that.
And even with those 20%, you're going to learn something. It's going to get you further where, you're going to knock stuff out, or it's still going to be very beneficial for you. So it's all about that taking action.
There's that adage of if you're not failing, you're not learning. And I love that mindset. And I even remember when I first started with AWI, Mark Ford, sometimes known as Michael Masterson, his former pen name, taught us the theory of accelerated failures. You make more mistakes early on in your career, and you should, because the more you can take action and make mistakes, the more you genuinely learn. And those lessons where you learn hands-on doing are the biggest lessons that you'll learn in your entire career. But so then the question comes up, well, what actions do I take, Rebecca? Okay, great. You're telling me to take action. Like what? So the way I like to describe this, there's 2 buckets in front of you from here on out in your entire writing career. And as Bob Bly would say, for the pro, school is never out. You'll always be learning. You'll always be doing something. Bob Bly is still marketing his business. He still markets to me, one of his clients, on a regular basis, because you're never stopping. You're never stopping learning. You're never stopping building your business, because that's what gives you opportunity, right? The more skills you have to offer, the more opportunities you have to make money. The more you build your business, the more options you have, the more opportunities you have, the more freedom you have. What if you don't want to work for a client anymore, or there's a bigger opportunity that presents itself? You always have, or a client has to pull away. You always have a lot more in the tank, if you will, that you can draw from. So I like to picture these 2 buckets. And this is basically how you spend your time. You're spending some of your time on building skills and some of your time on business building. And the key here is to make sure that there's something in both buckets, but that neither one is overflowing. So I never want you to have 5 skill building programs in the skill building bucket, because what will happen is let's say you have an hour a day to spend on training and you're taking 5 training programs. You've got to divide up, right? Between all those programs, 5. So you're going to inch forward every single week. Now imagine if you had 1 program in the skill building bucket and only an hour a day, you would complete that program. You could start promoting that, start making money from that skill while you're learning the next one. So instead of waiting to finish 5 programs, which is going to take you a lot longer to then get the return on the investment of that time and money, you could have already been making money off the first skill that you've learned. So let's move on to, Jay, just kind of what are some examples of these activities? So for skill building, it's little. It doesn't have to be these big, massive things, but at any given time, you've got something in there. So in your skill building bucket, it might be to learn the fundamentals of persuasive writing. If you're just starting out, that's where you start. You start with the accelerated program, or you start with our copywriting crash course. Everything is rooted in persuasion. That is where the money is in copying content. So that could be right now, I'm working. If I say, Sarah, what's in your skill building bucket? Well, right now I'm working on the copywriting program. Awesome. It could be exploring various writing projects. So you might be doing research on what are people in my niche using? I'm learning how to write emails. I'm learning how to write landing pages. I'm learning to do UX copywriting. It could be reading examples of good copy and content. Anything you get from AWI, it's a great example. Follow the companies in your niche and start reading their stuff. That could be a skill building activity, just reading great copy and content, reading the examples in the Hall of Fame, creating your own swipe file. As you are getting, let's say you want to be an email writer, as you get great emails, putting them into a swipe file that you can save so that you have material to study and draw from as you go to work on your own projects. And then doing hands-on writing assignments. Anything if you take any program from AWI, we have hands-on assignments that we're giving you to make sure that you're putting theory into action, that counts as a skill building activity. Just redoing those assignments can be what's in your skill building activity bucket for the time period. And then getting certified. Certifications are a big part of AWAI. Certifications are a big part of this industry now. That is part of, you might be working on your chatbot certification. You might be working on your site audit certification. That would be the one thing that you would put in your bucket. And I get an email every single time. Should I do this too? Should I do that too? My answer is usually no. Just stay focused, get in there. Can you buy something because it's on sale and you're going to want to do it because it's on your roadmap? Of course. But should you be dividing your attention in 3 different ways? No, I want you focused in the bucket on that next task at hand.
And just one little thing, the bucket's going to get fuller and fuller and fuller. It's just focusing on one thing at a time. And, and I also, as I'm looking at the slide here, I'm thinking, this is also learning activities. You can replace those words. And because I would bet you, if you're part of this group, and every copywriter I know loves learning. So it's like, what's the next thing you want to be learning about? And, all of these things give you these great opportunities to continue learning.
I love that. So everybody write that down. What's the next thing I want to be learning about? Because I agree, Katie. Good writers are curious people, and they just love to learn. The key now is not getting caught in the learning. Right. And that is definitely something that we see time and time again. When somebody emails me and says, I'm not making any traction, I haven't landed any clients. Great. My first response is, tell me what you've been doing on the business building side of things. Well, and then it's nothing. So that's why we have to have the business building side, because it's great to learn. We love to learn. Learning makes us feel good. It gives us confidence in that we're doing something, but it's almost like a false sense of confidence because yes, I have a lot of skills, but unless someone's going to pay me for them, I don't necessarily have a business. It's more of a hobby. Katie, why don't you tackle some of these business building activities that they could be doing?
Sure. And I do love the image of almost like the buckets, like the legal symbol where the buckets are balancing, because you just don't ever want one to be heavier. But as far as business building, again, we've been doing this for over 20 years now. So we have seen what works for the majority of people. And, once you get in, once you've committed to doing this, we do recommend that you narrow in on the area of either the business area or the area of expertise that you want to focus on. And we call it picking your niche. Could be, writing for financial markets, writing for business to business companies. I mean, there's thousands and thousands of niches, and we have so much great opportunity to help people do that. This can be a sticking point sometimes. They feel like, people feel like, well, I don't know, or I don't want to be stuck. Again, we just encourage you to focus in. It's the same type of mentality as when you're building your roadmap. Because if you're going in too many places, you're not gonna get to a final destination. So, like I said, we have lots of materials to help you do this and make it fun. It's like a fun kind of activity to go through when you're trying to figure it out. Really, the first and the easiest and honestly one of the most effective things you can do is update your LinkedIn profile. Just put in there copywriter or B2B copywriter or copywriter specializing in XYZ, whatever that is. And now, again, we have tons of information and proven strategies on how best to do that. Look through additional Inside AWAIs. We'll have some links for you. But and I know we're going to be getting questions. What if I want to work on 2 things? What if if I'm currently in a business and I don't want people to know yet? We have all those answers for you. I'm not going to get into it right now, but just know we have all that covered. So we'll be able to help you navigate that. But honestly, we know so many writers that have started getting contacts, that have started building their relationships just based on that one action. Part of picking your niche is deciding what, who the potential clients are that you'd like to work with. It could be companies that you're customers of right now that you just love and you're really passionate about. Could be a specific industry. It could be some kind of organization that you feel strongly about. it's great to start researching potential clients now and to continue to do it. Make sure you're reading the trade journals in those, whatever those specific areas are. Join as many, social media groups or networking groups within those areas, because like Rebecca said, you're not going to be done with this. This is going to be an ongoing thing. It's going to be an evolving thing. And you do want to be up to date on what's happening and who the players are and how you can help them be more successful. Making connections. This is a really strong one. And some people, it makes them a little bit nervous. They're too shy. They don't have enough, but making connections is a really important activity just to keep in mind in these business building activities. And now these connections can be with your fellow writers. And believe me, we make that super easy. Our social media groups are very active, very friendly, very supportive, very encouraging. It's so valuable to have a buddy, to be part of a smaller group that's part of a bigger group. Those connections can lead in so many different directions for you. So there's that on the personal level. There's making connections in the niches, the industries, the areas that you're interested in. There's a lot of ways to do that. Start by making some comments on posts on the social media sites. You will get people's attention, especially if you're being helpful, especially if you're solving problems for people in that community. There's connections with AWAI. We are connected. We have access to all the industries in the pros. So many marketers come to us looking for future writers. So you want to maintain and nurture your connections with us. And that can happen through so many of our advanced training programs. There are opportunities for Q&As. There's opportunities to get feedback. Come to a boot camp. I mean, that's what boot camp is. You have 400 of your fellow writers. You have 20 plus experts. People like Bob Bly. We were talking just yesterday. One of our favorite memories from, I think it was the last boot camp we had, was Bob sitting in the middle of the Marriott lobby and surrounded, people literally sitting at his feet, sitting on the arms of chairs, like leaning over each other. And it went on for hours, just being able to ask questions, hear war stories, laugh, and and all this stuff. That's a connection with Bob Bly, and it can't happen anywhere else. But so there's on the personal level, that's going to help you be more successful with fellow writers. There's in the industry and niche that you're interested in. That's just good business. That's what a CEO of a writing business would do, would be connecting with potential clients. And then there's on the industry level of getting to hear from and talk to and get feedback from and connect with really the leading writers in our industry. So again, connections is very level, it has multi levels to it. Putting up your website, again, if that scares you, we've got you covered. Rebecca does an amazing program that is geared towards putting up a freelance writer's website in 4 days. Thousands of people have been through it already. It's one of our most successful, one of our most popular and most appreciated programs that we offer. It takes care of everything. If you don't have samples, she got you covered. If you don't know how to do certain things, the technical stuff, there's no mystery there. I can't recommend it enough. And talk about a confidence builder. When you have your freelance writer's website up, you're going to have that extra level of confidence, and people are going to know you're a professional writer. And then writing samples. We know that this is a big issue. All of our programs offer some type of writing sample that you can use. We have lots of tips on how you can create samples, either for potential clients that you're interested in, easy ways to do this. It's starting from writing blog posts, to actually rewriting sales letters, to creating social media posts and things for the types of companies that you want to write for. These are all things that prove that you understand the structure of a persuasive argument. And they don't have to be things that have actually mailed. They just have to show that you understand this. And then building your network. That's all part of making connections. And I do encourage you to be very strategic about that, and think of it in these different levels of the support on the kind of the day-to-day basis with fellow writers, how great that is. And then, the other couple categories that I spoke about too. So, Rebecca, anything to add there?
No, that was very thorough. Awesome. Thank you. And the key with that is really just to show you that there's a lot of things that you could do with building your business. There's no right thing. There's no wrong thing. I just want you to take some kind of action every day. And it's not like on Tuesday, I'm going to put up my website. It could be on Tuesday, I'm going to write my homepage copy. On Wednesday, I'm going to write my contact page. On Thursday, I'm going to reach out to AWAI to get the website program on how to actually put it up. On Friday, I'm going to go to it doesn't have to be as comprehensive as it felt. It could be changing the picture on your LinkedIn profile. It could be changing the headline on your profile. Jade shared a story about the chatbot certification last round. One of the people who got certified changed out their headline to say certified chatbot copywriter, and got to leave that day. So awesome. Like, it could be something so small. The key is just that every single day, if I call you out of the blue and say, what's your skill building? What's your business building? I want one answer for both. And I want something that you're doing today in that bucket that you're moving forward. So the bucket can have things in it, but every day I have a little tiny sticky note that says what my actions are. You could literally write down SB, BB. So when I come tomorrow, my BB tomorrow is going to be, I'm going to research 10 new potential clients in my niche. And my SB is going to be, I'm going to finish modules 1 and 2 of the accelerated program. It can really just be that specific and that granular. And that's what we're going to get into in a second. But if you have something in each bucket, I promise you, if you just take action every single day in each of these buckets, you cannot help but be successful. It will guarantee momentum. It will guarantee you're spending time on the right things. And now with this next piece of this session, doing the roadmap, I'm going to guarantee that what you're putting in the buckets is the right thing as well. So let's go ahead and continue on. So let's get into the section on developing your roadmap. So this is kind of a 5-step process, the last one being actually developing the roadmap. The first one, like anything, if we're going on a trip and we're developing a roadmap, we need to know where we're going, right? So what is that destination? This piece of the roadmap, though, is in clarifying. We're actually going to name the destination when we actually build the roadmap. But right now, I'm going to give you some questions to think about, because it will kind of help you decide how we're going to go. Are we going to take the scenic route? Are we going to take the interstate? Kind of which way we're trying to get to where we're going to go. So let's talk about clarifying our destination. The first thing I want you to write down, I want you to think about, how much money do you want to make from your writing? It can be any number. And I don't want you to fear this. I talk to more writers who are fearful about the number than it's so interesting to me. You would think it would be the other way, but people are oftentimes afraid to strike a big number. They're afraid to strike a number. It's like we were all given something at birth that said, this is how much money you're going to make. And then that's it. And you're not allowed to get past that. But I am here to tell you, you can get way past that. We have story after story after story. I remember Sean McCool, one of our success stories. And I recalled when I had first met him, I think he was painting at the time. He was being a painter, like a house painter. And he was at boot camp, arms crossed, saying, I'm just here. I'm like, hi, I'm Rebecca Matter. And he's like, yeah, I'm Sean McCool. I'm just here to see if this is all real. Fast forward a few years. And I said, isn't it funny? Now you're a 6-figure copywriter. And here you were sitting at that table that one day. He's like, Rebecca, you don't even understand. He said, we've had a $1,500 check on our counter for like 3 months now, and we haven't cashed it. And my wife and I were just reminiscing the other day that at one point we would go to the gas station and we had to know exactly how much money we were putting in the gas tank. The thought that now they could have a check that was $50, they didn't even have to cash. It didn't even matter to them, was just mind blowing. So I want you to release whatever shell you have, whatever job you're in, whatever you've been told you're going to do. You're a teacher, you're a nurse, whatever ceiling is in front of you. Don't think about that. And I'm not saying like shoot for some like crazy out there number, but genuinely, how much money do you want to make from your writing? You don't have to tell anybody. Just write it down and be okay with it. Just feel it, write it down and say, yes, that's how much money I want to make. But then I'm going to ask you to write a second number down. And that is, next slide, how much money do you need to make? So if transitioning into a full-time freelance writer is your goal, likely the number that you just write down is not necessary. It's what you want to make, and we're going to go for that, but we're going to make a pit stop along the way. We're not going for the long-term destination. It's really, what's the first marker along the way? What's going to prove to me that I can do this? If I'm only working 10 hours a week because I have a 40-hour week job and I've got kids at home and I have about 10 hours a week to spend on my freelancing, what's the number that I have to make? So I might make $60,000 a year. I might make $40,000 a year, whatever it is. When I look at my bills, what's the number that I have to be confident that I can make from my freelance writing to make that transition? Now, if you're not looking to transition to full-time freelance, that's okay. I still want you to write down just kind of what you need to make. Like, what would you like to make? I want to be able to pay the mortgage with my copywriting. Therefore, I need to make X. I'd like to make Y, but today I need to make X. Write this number down, because what that does is it gives you a goal within your goal. And this is the one you're going to shoot for first. This is the one that when you're working 10 hours a week and all of a sudden you're like, I need to make $10,000 a month. I'm already making $8,000 working 10 hours a week. What if I open up the other 40? What do I have enough workload where I'm pretty confident if I spent those other 40 hours, I could tip? That's what this number is important for, because it becomes your measurement stick of when it's safe for you to make the switch to full-time freelance writer. And then I also want you to take a minute to think about what your writer's life will look like once you're living it. Numbers are one thing, metrics are one thing, I hit the financial goal, but there's more to it, right? The fact, like for me, one of the things that has been wonderful about the freedom of working with AWAI is when the kid's school calls and says your kid is sick or something happened, you need to come get him right now. I don't have this like, oh gosh, I got to tell my boss again that like I got to go pick up my kid. There's none of that, right? So what are those things for you? Is it doing meditation in the morning? Maybe you're like a morning person and you'd rather start working at 4 o'clock in the morning and get it done and be done by noon, whereas the normal business hours are 8:30 to 5:30. What does that writer's life look for you? What does your day look like? I really encourage you to sit down and write this out tonight, because it's not just about the money. The money is important, trust me. We talk about money because money, they always say money can't buy you happiness, but money can buy you freedom. And freedom can make you very happy. So it's okay to talk about money. I want everyone to get comfortable with that. But beyond the money, what does your life look like? How do you feel? What are you doing? What is your schedule? It's an important step, right, Katie, to really picture this destination?
100%. I encourage everybody to do it. And I also want you to add another layer to it is, what is your writer's life? How's it going to impact those around you? Like, for instance, using Rebecca's example, her son knows that if he's sick, it's going to be her that's coming to get him. It's not going to be somebody, he's not going to, that's a kind of a far-flung example. But if you're not as stressed out, what does that mean for everybody in your life? If you have a little extra pocket money, what's that going to mean for everybody else in your life? If you're doing something that you love and is fulfilling, what's that going to mean for other people in your life as well, too?
Exactly. So I'm just answering a question on the side. All right. So we've got our destination. We see where we're going. Now we're going to choose a route. How are we going to get there, right? We've got the picture in front of us of where we're going. So how do we choose a route? The first thing I want you to think about, and this is like kind of the beginning part is just kind of vague, but I just want you to go through this tonight, is what writing experience do you already have? If you already have experience in articles, blogs, stories, scripts, journaling, anything that you've already done, I want you to think about that. And even something so vague as journaling, well, what do you like about journaling? Or the fact that you've been able to write every single day? Maybe it could be that blogging is your answer because you're comfortable with commitment, right? You're comfortable with like, I can get up every single day at 8 o'clock and do my journal. I can get up every single day at 8 o'clock and do blogging. By having these conversations with ourselves, the next few questions I'm going to ask you, it will start to help all the opportunities. Some of them start to break away and some of them start to get a little bit shinier. If I put 75 writing projects in front of you, and you have to start value or judging them, right? Deciding which ones you're going to want to start with, which ones are more exciting for you, which ones are a better fit. By answering some of the questions I'm going to show you on this step, it's going to help some of them come into clearer view. So again, journaling was a good example in that you're used to doing the same thing every single day. The benefit that you have, or the benefit blogging might have to you, is it's a commitment exercise. You have to write every single day on a blog. So that might be a great way for you to service clients So you see where I'm going with that. Or if you have experience writing articles, you've already written stories, you can easily say, okay, which of the opportunities would benefit where I could bring my story skills into those opportunities. And all of a sudden, half might go away and half might pull forward. Okay, let's put another lens on, which is the next layer that we're going to go into. So think about the writing experience that you have. Then think about the work experience that you have. And this goes back to what Katie was talking about, niching. Let's say you're a nurse, right? Well, case studies, and you write stories. Well, case studies, there could be a cross section there. Case studies are success stories. They are used in the medical field, selling medical equipment. So there could be like, okay, all of a sudden now case study shows up of all the 15 projects that were great with telling stories. Case studies pops to the front because it would be a perfect fit for you because you could focus on the medical niche. You could use your nursing background and your love of telling stories and your ability to create the first starter project to start your business. So think about, and no matter what experience you have, just so you know, it can be anything. It can be work experience. It can be hobbies. Let's say you go to martial arts once a week. You have a black belt in something. Let's say you have been practicing organic gardening. I'm looking at one of my neighbors across the way. She has the most beautiful organic garden I've ever seen at someone's home. That could be your passion. Let's say it's who you are. I have life experience being a mom. I know about what keeps moms up at night. I have a sick little one actually right now. I know what it's like. So I can identify with moms. Any kind of experience that you have, I should have put any experience, not just work experience, but thinking about that. Okay, again, how do I take my writing experience, work or hobby with my life experience, my work experience, and finding those crossroads of where those things overlap. It just helps to focus in on the paths that you might pick, which is what we're going to move into next.
And Rebecca, I just want to add to that too, even organizations that you belong to or charities that you feel passionately about, there are opportunities there as well.
And then how much do you want to work? Because this is going to factor in as well. I want you to start thinking about, and it can change. It can be spare time today, part-time tomorrow, full-time after that. One of our success stories, Holly Hanna, who actually happens to be now one of my best friends, started just doing this on the side. She just wanted $500. She was a nurse. She didn't want to go back to nursing. She had a new baby and just wanted to pay for mommy and me classes. She needed $500 a month. And so she created a money-making website. It was just spare time. Well, then that spare time became such a big income. She started doing it in her part-time. And then when it was time to go back to work, the money was so great, she went ahead and made it her full-time job. So sometimes even starting what you think is going to be spare time could turn into full-time. But if you already know you're going to be full-time, then think about that. Because when you're looking at the different projects, it will tell you how many clients you can take on. Even though, let's say you decide it's going to be social media. Well, if you're spare time, you might only want to take on one project a month, right? One client on retainer, $2,000 a month. If you're full-time, you could probably take on 3, 4, even 5 clients a month. That's $10,000 a month. It really just depends. So I want you to be thinking about that because that's, again, it's just shaping this roadmap of what it is that we're going for when we are creating this map.
And like, how fun is it that you can decide this? Not somebody else, no one else is deciding this, but you are in control of this. And that's something you got to own and understand.
I 100%. Like, in what other world do you get to do that?
Right.
Like that you get to like write your own story. And then do you want to make money writing for clients, which, or writing for yourself? Some people have a fear of writing for clients. They just don't like the idea. They want to be, or both. Like a lot of people, and this is the way I would start it. If I was starting all over again, I would start a money-making website in the industry that I want to work in, and I would work for clients in that industry. So I could double dip on spare time income and have an asset that I could be creating, yet still have client income. But it could be whatever you want. But I want you to answer all these questions tonight and really just, again, start to think about, what is this dream that you're creating? It's not just, I want to be a writer. I get that. That's the first statement. But what does that mean? Like now you're starting to create, you're starting to see it. All of a sudden, the 75 writing opportunities, it's not all of them. You might not want half of them. Which ones are right for you based on your life, based on the hours that you want to work, based on your experience? You're basically like at a Chinese menu and picking the things to create the perfect tasting menu for yourself, right? It's the perfect meal. This is your perfect writer's life. Katie and I both love food. So
yes. And and really these writing skills that you'll be having, that's the vehicle that's going to get you there.
Exactly.
The focus almost switches to the end goal here, and writing's going to get you there.
All right, man, time is going so fast. Okay, so step 3, determine which project opportunity you want to start with. So once you answer those questions, if I give you a list of 75 potential writing projects and the descriptions of what they are, and I have an extra bonus that I found the other day that I'm going to give you at the end of this webinar, if you start to go through and strike out the ones that don't fit, because now again, you have this lens that you're developing. Well, these wouldn't work in spare time. These wouldn't work in part-time. These all have clients. I don't want to have clients. Now all of a sudden, it's not all the opportunities. And which one do I start with? There's so many. Now all of a sudden it's a few. And that's what we're going to figure out in this next step. Step 3 is, where are you going to start? There's so many projects. And again, I'm going to give you this amazing bonus at the end that actually shows you. Not only does it tell you what they are, we have a pricing guide, and I have that in the presentation, but I have another thing that actually shows you so that you can kind of get to like try it on. Would I want to write this? Like, this is what they mean when they say landing page. This is what they mean when they say, it shows you all the projects. But from email, social media, case studies, white paper, all this stuff, there's so many projects that you can offer. The key though, if we can move on, is just deciding. It doesn't matter which one you want. This is the pricing guide. So this presentation will be available. We have a PDF of the slides. We'll try to post them in the Facebook group, and they'll also be on our website. But all of the links that you're about to see will be clickable in the PDF. But this one you can write down. It's on our website. I recommend everybody download this. Not only does it cover 75 projects, and we update it every single year, it also includes the prices that you should expect to charge and that companies should expect to pay. We publish this every year for both of you. So you're both you and marketers. So you're going to see inside there's content, how to hire and train a copywriter, and how to, land and find working assignments. And it tells you both. Here's what we're telling both of you. This is the fee for this project. So it helps everybody be on a level playing field, have an ongoing conversation about this is the expectation. What I love about this though, in addition to knowing the projects and the fees, you get to see what we're telling the marketers. So you get to see behind the scenes, here's how you hire and train a copywriter. So what will you do? You'll take all that information, you'll go over to your marketing materials, and you'll do exactly what we say to them so that you match up as, oh, look, this is a perfect copywriter for me, but definitely download this. The key though is just to start somewhere, to pick something. You don't have to know them all, because the reality is AWAI has a training program on every single project possible. So let's say you choose case studies today. Let's say you chose chatbots, you're doing the certification, and the client says, yes, I want you to build our chatbot, but can you write the email series that follows it? Of course I can. I've got time in my schedule 3 weeks from now. Hang up, do a little dance, call AWAI and say, do we have a program on writing emails? We'll say, yes, we can. We'll put it on your member page. You'll get up to speed. It'll be fine. Just whatever a client asks you to do, say yes, and then come and find us. But real quickly, just client list pass, some examples, if you can advance, money-making websites. And we have information on all of this on our website. I don't want to get too much into it because we still have a lot of material to cover. Oh, go back. But those are some examples of client list paths. There they are. So a money-making website is just an information website. We're actually going to be talking a lot about this in December. Writing ebooks, publishing information, so information products, and selling it into an industry. And it looks like there's one more box. And then starting an email business. Ben Suttle's a great example of somebody who built an entire business just writing emails from himself to his list. And then we're going to talk about that actually at the end of November at AWAI as well. But there are lots of opportunities for working for clients as well as working just for yourself. Just remember, all of the paths, no matter what you choose, whether it's client lists, client full, ebooks, money-making websites, copywriting, content writing, whatever it is in between, it all starts with persuasion. Your job, learning persuasion, no matter whether it's an email, an SEO project, a social media, whatever, if you understand the fundamentals of persuasion, which is what AWAI teaches in our copywriting programs, it will ensure that your copy or content does the job that it's intended to do. And that is a big takeaway, in that the reason AWAI trained writers are worth so much and make so much more money. People say, how do they make this much money? It's because the work that they do, they understand that every piece of copy and content has a job to do. It has a job to drive the bottom line. And companies pay them very well because they need the stuff to do its job. And that is why our writers are paid so much, and why you will be paid so much if you learn persuasion, because you'll understand that an article is not just a piece of content. It's not just a piece of article that's just shoved out there. Right. It has a purpose. It's part of a plan. The blog post is part of the plan. The video welcoming you to the website is part of the plan. And it has to do its job to ensure the person continues to move forward. And we're covering that topic in Inside AWAI in December.
Yes. And Rebecca, just real quick, just understanding this foundation of persuasion, it's going to make you a better communicator. It's going to make you really a better thinker. It's going to make you a better communicator in every single thing that you do. So, I mean, that's like the cherry on top of all this.
Agree. The key here is just make a choice. You can always choose again, just like I told you with the case study example, and then add more. And should say, and add more. You can choose again. Why wouldn't you, right? The cool thing about the opportunity today, we talked about this yesterday in a different call. Katie and I were on a secret call about something that's coming out next month. But when we talk about copywriting, when AWAI started, there were 4 opportunities. Today, there's over 75. And the cool thing for you is that back then you needed multiple clients. You only need 1 or 2 now because there's so many projects and they're all attached. So you learn one and then you learn the next one and the next one, and you just keep building out the chain. And one client who hired you to write a blog post now is hiring you to write their newsletter, is now hiring you to write their ads, their landing pages, their emails, the funnels. But you just keep adding on, and the project fees per month just continues to grow month after month.
And they just don't have one and then they're done. Like they need like that whole series, like every month, some even more frequently than that. So, that's the beauty of this business. There's such a huge appetite and need for the type of writing that you have the opportunity to learn how to do.
All right. So I hate that I have to say I'm not already going fast enough. This is a lot of content, guys. Okay, so step 4, how are you going to land the assignments? We talked about this at the beginning, the skill building side, and then the business building side. You have to figure out now how you're going, and you can try them all. There's so many ways. We identified 26 in a different Inside AWAI. That link will take you right to it. But we think about ways of landing clients. We think of job boards, LinkedIn, Kate talked about that, networking, warm email prospecting is sending out emails to a large, like let's say you identify 300 potential clients. You might create an email that sends to all 300 to try and get the ones first who are already primed looking for a copywriter in this space. Inbound marketing is things like blogs, commenting on social media, where you're trying to pull people to you to come to you. We cover a lot of this in this 26 ways. We have different webinars on all of this stuff. The only takeaway I want you to remember from this is, again, you need to decide what projects you're going to offer, at least to start, so that you can start moving down your path. And you need to decide how you're going to try and start landing clients. It doesn't have to be the only way. And the only right answer, this Joshua Boswell, one of our success stories and a great teacher as well in the getting clients space, once told me it's not, there's no right way to get clients. The best way to get clients is the way that you're going to do. So if cold calling terrifies you, never have to cold call. If you don't want to be on social media, don't do social media, do a different one. There's so many different ways. The key is just that you find a way that you feel comfortable with and keep doing it again and again. And the reality is it's probably going to be more like 2 or 3 that you're going to use. And here's the kicker. Once you actually start marketing yourself, which is the most terrifying part of becoming a freelance writer, it becomes really fun. Once you realize that it's not scary and you start doing it and people start responding, it becomes fun. You're like, what if I change this? What if I did it like this? Steve Maurer is the perfect example. He personalized his social media, his LinkedIn profile to be for his niche. And we have this ongoing joke. Every time he emails me, a new client contacts him right after. And so I literally, every time he emails me, I email him back. And then I sit there and I wait, like, is he going to email me? He's like, it happened again. Somebody contacted me again. It's so much fun. The only reason, if you have any fear about this slide or the fear of getting clients, the only reason you have that fear is just because you haven't done it yet.
Right.
That's it. I promise you. And once you start doing it, it will become natural.
And how many people do we know that have gotten clients just by saying, hey, I'm a copywriter?
Exactly. Starbucks, their neighbor.
Like standing in line at the bakery. We know somebody at the bakery. Talk to the business owner or the person behind you in line. My brother's sister's niece needs a new website copy. Maybe I'll have her give you a call. And it literally happens that easily.
All right. Finally, on step 5, now we get to create the personal roadmap. So let's get into this. So what does this actually look like? Step 1 is defining your destination. So and again, you're going to have these slides, guys. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to fly. I just want to make sure you get out on time. But examples of defining that destination. I'm going to be an e-newsletter writer for professional service providers. I'm going to be a copywriter I'm going to be a copywriter for the financial market. Sorry, guys. I'm going to be a grant writer in education. I want to be a social media writer for infant safety products. You've defined your niche. You've thought about what experience you've You've thought about the projects that you're going to do. Now this is your destination. This is the I'm going to be this writer in this space. Now, can this change? Of course. It doesn't even matter. We can get to our destination and pick a new destination. The key, though, is that if it takes you 90 days to get to this destination, guess how much faster it'll take you to get to the next destination? Like 5 days, because you already will have had all the experience. You'll know what it's like to put up LinkedIn. You'll know what it's like to put up your website. You have confidence in picking niches. You've had a little bit of work experience. You've reached out to potential clients. You've handled their questions before with confidence. Like now you have all this experience because you took the trip. Taking another trip is like, pick a destination. Let's go, let's go, let's go. You can keep on picking new destinations. So don't worry about this. Just pick a destination. Let's get going tomorrow and move. And I promise you, if you do this, you'll feel that momentum and it will be easier to continue on with different destinations in the future. All right, next slide. So number 2, determine what skills you'll need to learn and how you're going to learn them. So now we know I want to be a newsletter in professional services. I want to be a social media provider in this space. What skills am I missing today? So we might need to be, I need to learn how to write persuasively. How am I going to get that skill? I'm going to finish the accelerator program. The skill might be that I need to learn how to write blogs. How am I going to learn that skill? I'm going to go through AWAI's blogging program. Very simple, right? Skill, another example, I'm going to learn how to audit websites for content issues. I'm going to take Site Audits Made Simple. Any skill that you need to know, we have the solution for you. I want to work in B2B, but I have no idea about the content projects that they use. I'm going to go through B2B content crash course. It really is just I need a skill. Here's how I'm going to learn it. And do you see what's happening now? Now you're in control. Now you know what skills you want to learn and how you want to learn them. It's not a matter of opportunities coming at you and you deciding, is this for me? Is this for me? Is this for me? No, you created a roadmap. So now you're saying, where's the thing I need? This is the skill I need. There's the how. Let's do this. So now you are in this driver's seat with this roadmap. All right. So then step 3, make a list of any business building tasks that you want to accomplish. So what are those business building? We got the skill building side. What's our business building bucket? What are we putting in there? So let's look at that. So again, we talked through some of these. We're going to pick a niche. It could be to create a stellar LinkedIn profile, identify 20 companies, put a professional website. And remember, it doesn't have to be put up a professional website. It can be design my masthead, pick a domain name. Every day could just be one little thing. And that's what this next step is you have all these tasks now, right? Organize them into an order that you plan to complete them, and assign tentative deadlines. So I'm going to have my website up by next Friday. So what is that going to look like? And so we're going to break them into bite-sized pieces. On Monday, I'm going to download Rebecca's Build Your Website in 4 days. On Tuesday, I'm going to go through module 1. On Wednesday, I'm going to go through module 2. On Thursday, so on and so forth. Actually make a plan. Like write out your calendar and specifically name tentative deadlines. This is when I'm going to get this chunk done. This week, I'm going to work on my LinkedIn profile. Next week, I'm going to work on my website. The week after that, I'm going to launch it. After that, and just if you always have kind of like the next few things on deck, you don't have to make the whole plan. But if you have the next thing on deck, part of your business building activity for that next week can be deciding those next steps. You're constantly building this plan as you go. But think about it. I don't want you taking all 4 courses at one time. So what are you going to take next? Just one. And then how are you going to break up that course to get it done? What's your deadline for completing the course? Then what's the next course? Moving to the next slide. So here's some examples of roadmaps. Total newbie, no experience. Month 1, skill building bucket. We're going to call it the SB and the BB. My skill building bucket, I'm going to learn the fundamentals of persuasion. And I have incorporated links just in case you don't know, if you're brand new and you don't know the best program, things like that, you'll be able to link through. My business building side, I'm going to brainstorm possible niches. On month 2, I'm going to focus overall on finishing AWAI's copywriting training. And I'm going to go through AWAI's 5-day launch party and launch my writing business. This is a big key. I don't care who you are, where you are, what experience that you have. I want you to launch your business. It doesn't matter. You're going to get better. You're going to get more experience. Most people get stuck there in launching your business. So we created this 5-day launch party that makes it super easy. We just give you exactly what to do. And by Friday, your business is up and running. And then we show you how to continue on that process, how to keep filling up that business building bucket. But I want everyone to, on the top of their paper, write down, launch my writing business. And I want you to pick a date. And I want it to be within the next 2 months. I want it to be before the end of the year. Honestly, let's get your business up before the end of the year, because how great will you feel if in 2021, you're not thinking about being a writer, you're not hoping to be a writer, you're starting the year as a writer. You are a writer. So let's everyone write that on their goal, no matter where they are. I'm launching my business. before the end of the year. So this is a total newbie no experience. And ideally, it would break down even further. And it's one of my bonus tips. The AWAI training, month 2 would say, I'm going to finish the training. What does that look like? Week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. And every Sunday, plan out your week. What am I doing on Monday? What am I doing on Tuesday? What am I doing on Wednesday? Just so that you're not like limping, like, oh, I'm finishing the training program. No, let's have a plan. Let's like really get granular and determine what we're going to do when.
Because the momentum you're going to be building, once you start checking those, it gets to be, it almost gamifies it. And you just have so much excitement and momentum behind you that it's powerful.
Awesome. Month 3, then put together some samples. Samples are a big issue. Everybody says, I don't have any samples. Don't worry. We have a whole webinar on showing you how to put up samples. Samples are genuinely just samples of your writing. You can write a sample blog. You can write a sample article. You can write a sample case study. There's nothing, it doesn't say you have to have written a case study for Starbucks. It's just, let me see a sample of your writing. Can you come up with an idea and articulate it through the written word? So we have a whole webinar that shows you how to build an entire portfolio, even if you have no experience. And then in my business building, I'm going to make a list of 50 clients I want to write for, and I'm going to watch another Inside AWAI on attracting quality clients. Even that can be business building. You're right here. You're doing something to build your business today. Just go through, if you watched Inside AWAI every Friday, just went through our catalog and watched the free webinar every single Friday, that could be your BB for the week. So that's total newbie no experience. And then just quickly, let's say you were someone who has some training, you've been around AWAI, you've already done the accelerator program, but you haven't like gotten in the game. You're still just kind of sitting here like, I'm going to be a writer any day. I'm getting ready to do it. Okay, we're going to do this. I'm going to complete AWAI's blogging program because this is going to give me something to offer right now and start making money. And I'm going to go through that launch party. Then in month 2, I'm going to get certified as an AWAI verified SEO copywriter, because an SEO person who can optimize blog posts, even more valuable. You get paid $200 to write the blog. The SEO copywriter, guess how much they get paid? Sometimes like $5,000 to optimize your blog post, to turn that blog post into a much larger and comprehensive blog post on a specific keyword topic. So they go hand in hand. But the reason I put blogging on the last slide is that you could literally start making money from that blogging skill in month 2. So month 1, I learned a skill, how to do blogging. I have my foundation in persuasion already because I've already taken the accelerated program. I learned how to write blogs. Month 2, I'm going to start getting some return on that investment. I'm going to reach out to 10 companies and I'm going to present 5 ideas for blogs that I could write. If you were with us in their launch party on Monday, you've already heard this, but just a real quick example of this with blog posts. My pediatrician, who I've had to call quite a bit in the last couple of weeks, their last post on their website was from April. Think about how many moms have gone to that website and are freaking out throughout the summer, into the fall. Does my kid have COVID? Can they go back to school? What about a flu shot? Blah, blah, blah. All the questions that are swirling in panic. No blog post. And of course not, right? Their business is overrun with patients right now. They have so much to do. They don't have time to mend their blog. Imagine if I called my pediatrician and said, okay, your website is a hot mess. Like, you've got moms, here's 5 ideas. All the other pediatricians are writing on these topics. Should I get my flu shot? What about this? How does it contradict with that? Here's 5 blog posts I can write for you. Which one do you want me to start with? You think she's going to say no? She's going to say, just go. Just do all 5. Here's our webmaster, just whatever it is, because she doesn't have time. She's running a pediatric facility and treating patients. The blog is the furthest thing from her mind. So the reason I'm giving you this example is to show you when you're starting out, all you gotta do is get your foot in the door. You pick a project, get the training. Blogging training, you can get through really fast. It's an easy project. It's a low risk for any potential client. It's like getting yourself a paid audition. And if it goes well, then you offer next. You know what, actually like would revamp your website copy, or I see that you've got this sequence here. I see this landing page. I'd like to drive ads to it. Then you can start to build the relationship. But I wanted this example to show you how you can learn skill in month 1 and start making money in 2. In month 2, you're learning a new skill, which guess what? You're going to monetize in month 3, and so on and so forth. I think you're seeing how this goes. Month 3, just another example. We'll move on through on how to keep on using the roadmap. But the point is to continue until you have a clear roadmap of steps that you can follow. Now, when I show up to my desk, now when I get an email from AWAI, I'm not like, is this for me? Is this what I should do? Well, no, I know what I'm doing because I have a path. I've got a roadmap, and now I'm in control. I'm driving this thing, and I can write Rebecca and Katie every month and say, look how far I've come. This is my destination. This is what I did last month. This is what I'm going to do next month. Tell me, just thinking about that for a second, if you don't think you'd be successful, if you could every single month say, this is what I did last month, this is what I'm doing next month, and that you could divide them into skill building and business building activities. there is no way you will not be successful. So that's the point of this map. I want you guys to do this roadmap and get clarity in how you're spending your time, your money, and just get moving forward down this path. All right, Katie, I'm gonna let you touch the bonus points and the
well, I'm having can you hear me? I did that will. Am I okay? Now you're good. I will check both your buckets for this week by doing the roadmap. It'll get your SB and your BB. So as far as getting bonus points, assign specific deadlines. I really think that that's not even a bonus. That just should be part of your SOP. Again, you're running a business. When you give somebody a task, you give them a deadline. You do want to schedule your activities. This goes to communicating with those in your life and just making sure that everybody is treating this as seriously as you do. So from, 7:30 to 8 a.m. every morning, this is my writing time. I'm not to be disturbed, or whatever works for you that makes sense in your life. But it's very important that you respect the schedule and those around you respect it as well. We're big on journaling. We're big on celebrating wins, which is part of how you're documenting your process. But this is a great thing to start today. You've done this today. When you do your roadmap, that's going to be the next entry in your journal. And, like, how great is it going to be when, like, I got my first check and, oh my gosh, I got my first royalty. This is going to be a living document of you creating the writer's life that's right for you. So I strongly encourage that type of acknowledgement and discipline and practice.
Awesome. Keep going.
There's more? Okay.
Yes, I know. I wrote the presentation for my speed rate.
So, and now just, the thing with everything that you're going to be experienced with AWAI is we're always going to give you more and you're never going to be done. So
that's just life, right? Like, I mean, yeah. I've been a health and fitness person for a long time. I've done yoga since I was 21. I'm still learning. I'm still getting better and stronger and everything. It is what it is. Passions. How many cookbooks do you have, Katie?
Oh, big old shelf full.
Not done yet.
But so the important thing is this is a living, breathing, organic document that you're creating. And you want to use it as a tool and a motivator, and you're going to want to update it as you progress in your skills and your success. So, going back to whatever your tracking system is, maybe it's just a simple notepad with check marks. Maybe it's something that you do in your calendar. Maybe this is part of your journaling, but you do want to recognize, acknowledge, congratulate yourself, and then move on. You're just know now you're not going to be done. You're always going to be learning, and there's always going to be new little mountains to climb, and it's going to get more and more fun as we go.
I really want you guys to think about, maybe you guys should partner up, like find accountability partners, go into our different groups and find partners. But imagine if every Friday you said, give me your 5 SBs and your 5 BBs. And you guys said, like, here's what I'm doing next week. Here's what I did last week. And then once a month, you almost kind of like audited yourself. Like, what did I accomplish? And then celebrate the heck out of it, man. Like,
absolutely.
One of my biggest weaknesses, I'll achieve something. And Katie's like, Rebecca, just pause for a second. Like, don't go on to the next thing. Like, you have to stop and be proud of this thing. And it's a weakness of mine for sure. But I love to celebrate other people's victories, but I don't stop and celebrate my own. Celebrate your own. And if you need people to celebrate with you, you tell us. We're good at celebrating. We'll be there.
Absolutely. And we know the power of having an accountability partner, the power of being parts of smaller groups like this. So 100%. And the social media groups are just the perfect places to do that. And then, with all this being said, and, we're being like this, be reasonable with yourself. Life does happen. Sometimes deadlines do need to be adjusted. You just want to be very honest with yourself and practical and realistic. You're not going to adjust things out 6 months, maybe 6 days or again, just adjust things so that it's manageable and it doesn't overwhelm you. So, be realistic as far as that go. But even as you're adjusting, you still want to be doing something every day. Even if you can't do a bigger task, you can certainly read a sales letter. You can certainly read a something in the industry that you're interested in. You can certainly reach out to somebody on social media. So even if the big things aren't happening, there still should be little things.
And if life happens, like you get a sick kiddo who throws you off your path for the whole week, just go be the mom, go be the dad, just be with your sick kiddo, and remind yourself that this is why you're doing it, that the freedom that you have right now to change your own schedule. Yes, it's disappointing. It throws you a little bit off your path, but the freedom that you have, that's why you're doing this, so that you can adjust your schedule. So it's a good practice to get into now as well, adjusting things as needed. Other times you're going to find that you speed things up. You just find that caffeine is your friend, and you all of a sudden just start plowing through and things get faster than you expected. And now all of a sudden you've made up some time. It's going to ebb and flow your entire life. So don't worry about that. Just go ahead and adjust. All right, next slide. Closing advice. To make a living as a writer, you need to treat it like a business. You're going to hear Kate and I talk about this a lot. You're the CEO, you're in charge, and it's a hard switch for a lot of people. If you've worked for somebody else your entire life, you said, okay, Katie, now here's what we're going to do today. Here's the expectations by Friday. You're going to have to create that little person on your shoulder. It's challenging. It's a little bit of a shift. And if you struggle with that, another reason to have an accountability partner. Okay, here's what I'm thinking. Can you just give me some action items? If you want help with that kind of stuff, we have a lot of programs too that keep you accountable. So we have something in January called the Companion Series. It's the only time Kate and I do it, but we get everybody up and going on the right foot the first, kind of get them on task. This is what you do this week. This is what you do next week. Launch party, same thing. We give you the exact 5 things we want you to do with deadlines to get you used to moving forward. But you need to treat this like a business because you're the CEO. You are in charge. And then, so weird not having my own slides. You need a goal and a plan on how you're going to get there, which is what we've covered today.
Yes, we have.
And you need to be able to make decisions. So we talked about this a lot at the beginning, that paralyzed, make decisions and move forward, take those actions. And now hopefully today you have a very clear understanding of how to create that roadmap for yourself so that you know what actions to take. You're not every day sitting down going, what should I do today? I never sit down on my computer without knowing what I'm doing. I always have a sticky note that has my bullets that says, this is what's on task today, and this is what you're going to accomplish. If you do need help, we do have a program called Circle of Success. It's usually for people who are a little bit, in this, they've committed and they're ready to go. We have a full mentoring program. Membership is open right now. It's something that you can check out. That link will be clickable, and they can put one in the Q&A on Facebook as well. But with this, we actually guide you. So we create your roadmap with you. You start on day 1, you actually get a mentor call who asks you all of the questions, who then helps you create the roadmap, who is there every step of the way. So if you are somebody who would like guidance, who wants somebody like kind of riding shotgun in the car as they take the road trip and making sure that you're making all the right turns, you're making all the right moves when things present themselves, that you can get someone to help you continue to move forward, hold you accountable, Circle of Success might be for you. It also gives you access to all of our self-study programs. So that's just something, again, client calls you and says, can you optimize this website? Yes, I can. Thank you very much. Boop, boop, boop. Enter COS, open up the SEO program, and you're off for the races. But all the information is in there, and they'll put a link. And with that, we almost finished at 3 minutes and 18 seconds over. So what questions do we still have remaining, Jade?
Just to add to this whole thing, this should be a fun experience. It should be a rewarding. And, I'm just so excited for everybody that's at this stage of it. Because, Rebecca and I know what's coming down the road for you.
We know.
And, it's pretty great. So congratulations for doing this work. And we're all excited for you, and we're looking forward to working with you.
Yes.
So I have to say the feedback has been sensational during this. Like, everybody has been loving it, loving your energy. And not only that, like, one of the reasons why our members are the best is because everything you guys were talking about, they were giving examples of how it happened to them. It was like,
oh, I love that.
Everything for me to not be like,
so it's hard, yeah.
So I actually wrote it down so that I could share it with you, because I know that you guys can see. First off, it's so awesome. John and Eric both said how much they love COS and how they can vouch for it and how awesome it is, which I absolutely love.
And just full, well, yes, good. Good.
And then, so we had Kelly that wrote in that said she did exactly what you spoke about. I can't now remember if it was Katie or Rebecca. She had a client that was like, I need somebody that can write scripts. Can you do it? And she said yes, and sign up for Andrew Davis's script writing class.
Wow. That's a lucky client that's going to have her now that she's done this training.
Oh my gosh. And so then another comment that came in, and then I've got a question that came up with it. So Nora talked about how she had somebody calling her, trying to sell a B2B product to her. And she was like, I don't buy the B2B products. I'm a writer. And the person was like, oh, really? I need somebody to write my blogs. And they're calling. Yeah. So
again, that's all that person made.
So with that in mind, there was another question for somebody that said, there's a lot of people that don't know what a copywriter is or what that means. Do you have another way that they could frame it to describe it for somebody that might not be familiar with the term copywriter?
Marketing materials. I write marketing materials. And then I would just say an example. So I write marketing materials for companies, things like their websites, their emails, their social media, newsletters. And at that point, you just kind of trail off. If that's not, because if they don't really even understand the idea of marketing, then if you're talking to a company that doesn't understand what a copywriter is, I probably would move on because they might not have the value that they might not value. It would be like me asking, what is a chiropractor? If I'm not seeking a chiropractor out or don't see the value in one, it's going to be a hard sale when they go to actually pitch the service. But in general, if you're talking to other people, I write marketing materials for companies in this space. So for example, their social media posts, their newsletters, their website copy, things like that.
And whoever is in our launch party group, they'll know that I know that Heather talked about this last week. Like, depending on the situation that you're in, are you trying to start a conversation? So in terms like, do you say like, I increase ROI by 200% because I'm a chatbot copywriter? You know what I mean? Like, do you start a conversation or you're making a statement? So I think that to know your audience is also pretty important when you're making that. These comments are coming in.
On that comment though, so there's a difference, right, in marketing materials versus a conversation. If you are coming to my website, I might have a claim like I can increase blah blah by 200% because that's a sensational proof piece that might grab your attention and keep you there. But if I call Jade up and say, "Hey Jade, my name is Rebecca Matter. I can increase your business 200% by writing chatbot copy," but she's like, "No, I don't need an email." Same thing. But if I was like, "Hey Jade, I love your stuff. I saw that your email sequence was like X, Y, and Z. And I noticed you're not using a chatbot on Facebook. I'm just curious why."
Or I see that, I know I'm part of your world. I'm part of your prospects, your customers, and I'm really interested in this. I see that you're not really talking about this yet. Can I help? Can I write an article? Can I write a blog post? Can I help you have this conversation with folks?
And then finally, one more example. I see that you're investing in social media, but I have some ideas on how we could make it even more engaging for your members. Again, it's not saying you're doing anything wrong, you're missing on this thing, but it's just another angle. If they're investing in something, the question I remember Nick telling me a long time ago when I first started learning how to write for the web with him, was he would say, find the money page, find the landing page on their website that they're driving traffic to, look at it, come up with some ideas for how to improve it, and then say, what would it mean for you if this page could work harder? Because if they're spending all their money and resources at trying to get people to that page, if it would be more effective, it's in their best interest. So why wouldn't I give you a shot to see if you could improve the results?
And so, all these little examples are, we all offered solutions to problems that these businesses might be having. And that's the mindset you need to have. You need to be offering solutions that's going to make them more profitable, make their audience more engaged, that is going to solve problems for them, be helpful in that way. So you do want to think in those terms.
Well, here's the other thing where like skill building and business building kind of overlap, right? The skills that you learn in copywriting, like benefit-oriented persuasion, all these things are going to help you when it comes to building your business and getting the clients, because you're just going to be doing what you want to do for them for yourself.
Right? We'll apply all that stuff to you. You're your first client. You're your first client.
Great.
Love it. Donovan is just like me. He said, thank you so much. The 2 bucket analogies is life-changing. Seriously. And then we even had...
Jade is a big fan of the big buckets too, Donovan, just so you know, if I ever do any webinar, it would have nothing to do with this. She's like, Rebecca, maybe you should talk about the 2 podcasts.
Every time, because it just makes it so clear,
I like that. Thank you. Good feedback.
And there's so many people that are already creating buddy groups and accountability partners in our comment section. I would love to tell the story quickly about Tim and Les, because they were doing what Rebecca and Katie mentioned. They met at like a Circle of Success event where we, like the VIP part where they were sitting at the same table, and they were sitting next to each other and didn't know anybody else and started talking. And they would literally after that made a deal with each other to check in every Monday and Friday. Like, so what do you want to do this week? And on the Friday, like, have you done it? And gave each other permission to do that. So
powerful.
Yeah.
Katie, Katie's my accountability partner. And every Monday, we're the first meeting that each of us have. We don't meet with anybody else until we've met. We connect, we touch base. How was the weekend? Just to make sure that we stay connected that way as well. And then it's literally what are you going to do this week? What am I going to do this week? What are we going to do this week? And then the end of the week is usually like, that was a big week. On Monday. But it does keep us accountable, because having a partner, it's not like Katie's going to come to me and say, now, Rebecca, you said and I'm not going to go to her with that either, but putting it out there and saying, Katie, this is what I'm going to accomplish, and her saying, this is what I'm going to accomplish, it's kind of hard not to accomplish it, because you don't want to be the one who's like, I didn't do anything this week.
I probably should have also mentioned that they're both now super successful copywriters, and I left out that bit of it where they're both they both decided to go the in-house route, and they're both very successful.
Success members, not Katie and me.
No, I mean, your guys' success is super obvious, but the people that I gave the example of.
And they're so great for that. But I just also love the friendships that have been formed. And when people do this, people help each other with life issues. It really becomes so much richer and deeper than even, it's going to start out as this, but chances are it's going to grow into a really beautiful friendship.
It's cool.
Because I tell you, you enjoy the energy of this webinar and you enjoy the content of this webinar. Wait till you meet the community that goes along with it.
If you're new to this world, just get into any of our social communities and you'll see like the love and the camaraderie and the support, the picking you up when you fall down, the motivating you when you need somebody to push you forward, the celebrating. Because a lot of times people just don't have people in their world. This is the weird thing. When I talked about the money at the beginning, you're going to hit a point where you're going to be uncomfortable talking to other people about how much money you make as a writer. It just is what it is. I have 3 people I can name, very close friends of mine that I've made through AWAI, that can't tell anybody. Like, they're embarrassed about how much money they make now. So where do they go? They have to. And they'll literally say, can I just tell you, because I'm not comfortable telling anybody else, but I'm okay telling you about the money because I know you know how much money I can make. I'm like, hell yeah, you can.
Oh my gosh, I have to tell you one of my favorite stories, and it happened yesterday or this morning. And I wish I could read
in the last 24 hours.
Yeah, exactly. No, but we get so many good ones. So, and I just regurgitate, like, I'm just always talking about them. And Melissa, maybe she can remember the member's name. But he came to one of our groups and told us about a client that he got literally by putting on Facebook and tagging a few friends that he knew were entrepreneurs. Like, I'm a writer, if anybody's looking for business. And he got a client like that. And he came to the group and he said, can you post your favorite happy dance gifts because I just got my first client. So, yeah, it was.
Jason exactly. Is very good at gifts. Our team is very good at gifts, actually.
I do. I love it.
Melissa, that's a shout out to you.
Yeah.
Yes, Melissa is one of our resident gift experts.
Yeah.
She actually sends out a really cool internal memo every Friday that has all of our just success stories that she's curated. We have so many more success stories now than it's been nuts. People talk about, is now the right time with everything going on in the world? It's bananas, right, ladies? Like, how many more success stories? So we've actually asked Melissa to start putting them into a newsletter just so that we can see them all, because we're moving so fast and we're trying to like catch them all. But so she actually puts together a newsletter and she's got gifts in it and memes and things that like it's my favorite thing to read every week.
Me too. Oh, look at Tina's comment here. This community friendship has helped me cope during the COVID isolation. Really has been a lifesaver. Oh, Tina, that means the world to us. It's helped us too. I got it.
Here's another one. Deb said that we're amongst her accountability group has become amongst her closest friends. I mean, and I know Tina is kicking butt in some of our programs because I have seen it too. So she's not just she's walking the walk as much as she's talking the talk. So that's awesome. Is that the right saying?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. There's just so many comments saying it sounds like I need this. This is so cool. It's all positivity. I don't see any other questions. Oh, there's a question about the replay. First off, straight away on Facebook or YouTube, if you're watching there, you can access the replay there. To get the PowerPoints that Rebecca shared and the clickable links, we've posted a link to our Inside AWAI page. It's on our AWAI website. The replay PowerPoints live there, and you can click on everything through there.
Oh, and the bonus that I mentioned. So the pricing guide shows you 75 projects and the fees. We put together a special report that is not available out. We haven't shared it yet because it's so massive. It's such a valuable resource, but I want you guys to have it because I really want you, when you're discovering or thinking about what projects you might start with, it takes all 75 examples and shows you the full, what the assignment is. So it's not like, because right now the pricing guide kind of lists it and it gives a quick one-line description. But if you don't know what a case study looks like, if you don't know what a white paper is, if you don't know what a funnel is, things like that, I can give you the definition, but you don't really know what the assignment is. And so this bonus report, it's massive, but it will give you just a really good understanding as to all the projects. So it will be on the Inside AWAI page. When you go to Inside AWAI, and that's the landing page, you'll find all of our sessions. This one will be at the top, and we will post that bonus underneath. If you go into this presentation, it will be there with the slides under the bonus section. And I recommend that you grab it because it's probably going to get removed at some point because we probably will use it for something. But I just think it would benefit you now to have this thing to really just, if you're new to this world, to get immersed in this, what all the projects really are and look like, and see how many words and how much you can get paid for writing all those words.
Yeah. And just how many fun projects there are.
Oh, so fun.
There was a question from Nora about, do the comments come up in the replay? They come up on the replay in Facebook and YouTube, but you will not see them on the replay from this bottom link. So depending where you watched it, and I think it might have to do with the buddies thing. So yes, you'll see the people that are looking for buddies on the comments on Facebook. Okay, I mean, I think Emerson says, "Love you guys. We love you too, Emerson." It's just honestly.
So just so you guys know, we do this every single month. So if you have a topic that you want us to cover, if you're like, I just wish we could do a deeper dive into fill in the blank, email me at askrebecca@awai.com. If there is anything that we can do to help you move your writing business forward, count us in. We are here. We just need to hear from you with what you need, because we're giving you what we know that you need, but there might be some blind spots that we don't have. So tell us what you need and we will help you. And then next month's topic in December is going to be what we're calling, it's the copywriting content continuum, but it's basically showing for those of you who are not necessarily new to the world, but don't necessarily know how all the pieces work together. If you don't have a marketing background, it's going to be a marketing crash course that basically shows you from the first time you meet somebody, a company meets somebody, on what we call the persuasive side of conversation, so the content side, all the way through all the copy pieces and the conversations that are had, all the way to the final point of the sales side, the sales letter, the sales piece that asks for the sale. There are dozens of touches and dozens of pieces of content and copy that need to be written in between. So if you see yourself as not a salesy writer, we're going to kind of show you where on the spectrum you are and all the projects that are good for you. And then if you are like, I'm in it, let's go and get some, let's help these companies put their solutions out there and help them solve their customers' problems. I'm going to show you the copy sides on the projects on that side and kind of show you where that middle ground is and really show you how it all comes together. Because if you understand that every piece of copy and content that you write is part of one big sequence, you all of a sudden become a better writer and you become more valuable to your clients. If you remember at the beginning, the reason AWI trained writers are paid so well is that they understand that their copy and content has a purpose. And they understand what the purpose is and how to make it effective. And that's what we teach you in every single program. And so I want to give you this big understanding so you can go in, like Jade was just saying, not only walking the walk of the projects that you can do, but in this case, talking the talk, and that you really understand the big picture. It's a huge opportunity. And I think it's going to really just blow off the lid on, oh my gosh, I get it now, and give you confidence when talking to clients about just all the things.
it's something that we really focus in on. It's, you know, meeting the reader where they are, and this content continuum does such a great job of it. And then even after the sale, there's a ton of opportunity for copywriters, you know. So, and we'll get into all that, but
I think that someone's asking for the date. I believe it is December 18th, but that Inside AWAI page, we always publish it. I'm trying to pull up my calendar. We always publish the next episode within the next couple of weeks. But I think it's December 18th. It's usually on a Friday, and it's usually at the same time. And I don't have it on my calendar. But yes, I believe it's December 18th at noon.
yes, Pam's saying, Fran's saying yes.
Okay, good. Fran
December 18th.
is all.
At noon.
There we go. I mean, I don't know how you guys keep doing this every month. I keep topping it, and the topics, like, it's just so good. If you go to this link to
you guys, it has nothing to do with you guys. Think about it. We are just here to serve you. So you tell us what you need. Think of us as tools. We've been doing it for so long. We have the connections, we have the information, we have the experience. It's all in here, and it's all on our website. It's everywhere else, but there's so much now. We just don't know where you are at which point. So you tell us where you are. We'll pull the information out and make sure that
and whenever we have a chance to walk you through it, we really enjoy it and get a lot out of it. And it feeds us, motivates us, and it inspires new ideas too. So
thank you for hosting us. Yeah, thank you for being here today and giving us this opportunity to connect with you. Like somebody said earlier, that we've helped her get through this isolation. You guys have gotten us through it too. Like we take this, it means so much to us to have the opportunity to connect with you, and any opportunity that you can give us, we will take it. So thank you.
All right.
Okay, bye everybody. Happy weekend.
Some homework to do. Work on those road